Hello, everybody. Greetings from Singapore. Good afternoon.
Hi, Simo. Yes. How are you? How are you?
Okay, I'm waiting for more. More
Yeah,
people.
my colleague said that she would join, Sanida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time now. I guess
Yes.
I can wait another 1 minute or two, just in case they are still finding their way here. I hope the rest of our audience, please bear with me for a while. Ooh, is everybody here from Chula? I see all the Thai names, right?
Can you try to pronounce?
I can only pronounce your first name and not your second name, Mata.
Oh, try the whole name, Simo. You have been in Thailand for a while, for so many times, so you are very familiar with our names. I know.
I can only say that Hanatip Chan Kong.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Do you remember Nopadon from Lanna?
Yeah.
She's his wife.
Oh, okay. Small world.
Yeah, so she knows CDIO very well.
Hi, I need a lot of suggestion on CDIO, so I have to join this event.
Sanida is here. Hello, where are you? All right, there she's waving at me. Okay. All right. I think this I guess we get started. I guess we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not sure whether should I consider Nata as a participant or not. I think she's here to make life difficult for me.
No, I want to learn more from you. You are the expert.
Nah. You're getting very good yourself already, you know. So
Still more challenging every time.
Oh yes. All right. So without much ado, I think I will share my screen. Okay. Can everybody hear me clearly? Okay. All right. Thank you. Can you see my screen? All right.
Yes. It's very clear.
All right. No problem. Okay then. All right. So once again, a warm welcome to this session. All right. On integrating self-directed learning skills in engineering curriculum. So I think my name is Sin Moore, and my colleague here, Katerina, she will also be helping me to run this session. All right. She's also like myself, we are chemical engineer in training, by training. Okay, so I'll just project my slide now. Can you still see my slide? Because the next page is very important. All right, so the next page is very important. Yeah, do you know what you've got yourself into? Okay, how many of you knows what is self-directed learning? Okay, so today we're going to talk about self-directed learning. Okay, using the CDIO approach, of course, right? So, but before we start, just one or two more administrative matter. All right, this is a workshop. All right, so the meaning of workshop is all working and no shopping. All right, so this is workshop. Yeah. All right. So we need you to think, and the outcome of this workshop is that you will engage in a lot of thinking, right, and plan out what you wanted to do, and hopefully you will be able to do this, right, and after this workshop, right, and perhaps even share your findings, your effort at the next CDIO conference. Yeah. Okay. Right. So are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Because you are going to work very hard for the next 60 minutes or so. So we are ready. So now you know what you've gotten yourself into. Yes,
Sanida, we can do it.
You can do it. Okay, Nata, since you have said it,
yes,
you can do it, right? Nobody can say no anymore, right? Thank you so much.
It's just a word of encouraging everyone, you know.
I take it as you are the spokesperson for everybody.
So we aim for writing a paper for Iceland next year with this SDL from your own course. Why not?
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, so how we will do this is that me and Katrina was thinking quite a bit of how best to do this in an online fashion. So, because we expect some audience, all right, it's not quite a one-to-one session, and we also want the participant to share their input with one another so that they can see what others are writing. Okay, so we decided to use a Padlet, all right, and the links will be sent through the Zoom chat, all right, so that you can enter the Padlet. Are you all familiar with Padlet?
Yes, I have
Yeah.
used it.
So there will be 4 in total, all right? So what we intend to do is that because there are 4 parts of the workshop, okay, so we'll go through step by step. So the first part, we have 1 Padlet, and the second one, we have another Padlet. So at the end, once we finish 4 Padlet, we will consolidate your input, right, and put them together so that you will get an individual, your own individual work as a big summary, right? So I do request that you, all right, you know how to use Padlet already. So when you click to enter your input, right? Okay, so it will look something like this on the screen, all right? We request that you write down your name, right, so that we know whose contribution the post-it, Padlet post-it belongs to, so that we can consolidate and send it back, hopefully as soon as possible. I hope that is workable for everybody, because the intent for this workshop is that really when you walk away from this session, all right, you have something in mind that you can carry on, you can continue. Right, we'll try our best to do this within the next 60 minutes or so. All right, so that is our current approach. All right, and do let us know if we can improve in other ways as well. All right. Okay, so basically we will start with the, all right, with your understanding of self-directed learning. All right. Katrina, would you be able to send the Padlet link to everybody through the chat box? Okay. Katerina.
Can.
Yeah,
I'll send it now.
Yeah, I'll let me trouble you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to use your phone, you can send the QR code as well. But basically, to make life easier, we'll just start with one definition from Knowles, all right, on self-directed learning, which I think is still very much applicable. Okay, so to start this off, sort of just to stock take for a while, and I guess it makes it easier because all of you are more or less from Thailand, the same university. All right, and can you perhaps share is there any model of self-directed learning that your university or your own program or you have tried you wanted to use to guide you in designing this integrated learning experience? All right, so that is what we are asking you to do. If you are able to share that, and if not, okay, or even if you have it, all right, so what are the key elements or the building blocks, right, that you think is important to train or to use to equip our students with so that they become a self-directed learner? Right, the basic understanding here is that self-directed learning is quite a high order skill set, right? So it has some building blocks, you have other skills that the students need before they can even become a self-directed learner. And if we want to train our students to be self-directed learning, they may not have some of these building blocks, which we do need to prepare them first. Right? We cannot jump into straight away ask them to be a self-directed learner. We need to equip with them with some knowledge and skills. Right? So that is the first part. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So with that, all right. So we would like to invite you to post your contributions to the Padlet. All right. I'm not sure. Can you see the Padlet now? Am I projecting my screen or I'm just projecting the PowerPoint?
Let me see. I see the PowerPoint.
You see the PowerPoint only, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. I may have to toggle between a share screen and yeah, probably this one. Yeah. Right. Okay. May I invite you to put some contributions now? You can see the Padlet now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And I'll be trying. I'll try to watch the time. All right.
So what's supposed to be what we put here is to one.
Share the self-directed learning model if you have. All right. And if you can import the picture if you do have the picture. All right. But if not, what is your understanding that there's the skill set that students must have before they become a self-directed learner? Okay, so self-directed learning is quite a high-level skill, yeah. All right, and may I request that you write down your name, right, your first name, right, in your post-it notes, okay, so that we can consolidate your results, your input, right, from the 4 Padlets that we are going to post, or this one plus 3 more that we will post, so that we have a continuity for you, right? We will stitch together your input into a continuous format from beginning of the workshop until the end of the workshop. Okay. All right. Okay, I will just toggle the screen, yeah. So please bear with me. All right. Or I'll just share screen will do. I think I'll just do share screen. Then I don't have to toggle in and out. I'll just show you the PowerPoint. You can see the PowerPoint now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. And now I can move the page down. I don't know why. Yeah. Okay, what I've just shared is this is the Singapore Polytechnic self-directed learning model. It's prepared by our Department of Educational Development for all staff to guide us in when we plan activity to teach the students self-directed learning. Right? So we recognize that there is no one model, it's just a guideline, and different courses may implement it differently, okay, depending on their own needs. But this is a general model. Right? So I'll give everybody a few minutes, right, to put in your input. What do you think? If you don't have a model, what do you think the elements or the components of self-directed learning? Is it teamwork? Is it communication? Is it self-discipline? Is it time management? No, whatever that comes to mind. There's no right or wrong answer. Okay, you may want to take a look at what Katrina has written as well. Okay, actually, it's not fair. You know what is this? What we are doing. That's our version.
Yes, correct.
I'll ban you from writing.
Aww.
Okay. So Shate, based on instructor methodology, maybe you can elaborate, right? So what do you tell the students? Right, Natase told the students it's a responsibility, all right, for their own learning.
Actually, like not really a self-directed, like we have some kind of like online study, maybe like flip learning. We have like video sections. So you can watching the video ahead, and then during the class time they can do some exercise online.
I see.
And usually with the professor or TA.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So
one of the class that has been taking last semester.
Okay. Yeah. So a few more minutes. I think we still have some time to enter the solution. So let me see. Where is my document? Okay. Oops. Self-discipline. All right. Okay. So, okay, we have some methods here that it's been used. Okay, what else is this is being blocked? All right, analytic curiosity, time management. Okay, so all right, so 3+ method can be a good start to train SDL. All right. Okay, I'll just wait for a while more to see if how are we doing on this. And I may need your help in terms of the timing because I'm trying to process a few things at the same time.
Okay, can.
Yeah. So maybe you just highlight to me or show me your hand sign or whatever it is.
Okay, can.
All right, having them choose their own topic when select the assignment. Okay, interesting. We have a few inquisitive mind. All right. All right. Or maybe you tell me if there's 5 minutes left from the first segment, and I'll just then so that I can do a quick sum up brief before we move to the next one.
Okay, can we have another 4 more minutes?
Okay. It seems to be a bit difficult to drag the post-it notes today. I don't know why. Yeah.
I'll drag it for you.
Okay, if you can.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I don't know why it's a bit sticky on my end.
Oh, it's okay for me. No problem.
Probably you are the one who created it, then it listened to you. I have no idea.
Sometimes it's connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Yep, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, so besides curiosity, time management, inquisitive mind, okay, so what are some of the skills do you think that they need before they become self-directed? All right. Oh, just jump.
So now put on the same Padlet for the skills need, or what? The same one, right? The same Padlet.
Anybody else? I think some of you who have not contributed, all right. If you do not contribute, you cannot leave this session. Sanida, I see the name is not here.
Is she still around? I don't see her. She leave the screen.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you have to put.
Yeah.
We wait for your input,
Try to
Sanida.
make a Padlet.
A Padlet.
Did you see?
I don't see your work, Sanida.
Really.
Yeah. Oh,
I
below.
put my name.
Oh,
it's
down
so
there. No.
Oh my God. One question: how to assess SDL? Okay, Dr. Shate, we will come to that later on. Yeah, we will come to that later. Okay, and then probably I'll devote some time to Q&A. All right. I think that's something we didn't plan for it, but that is a good question. We can certainly address that. Okay, right. So we will take note of this one. Maybe this one change it to a bright red color. Oh, they are nice. Yes, you'll remember that one. Okay. Yeah. Skills.
Hey.
Time.
Holiday.
It's still from me, excuse me. Not Sanida, it's me. It's competition. Simo, you have to have the reward, like motivation.
Oh, okay. Let me think of what motivation can I give now? Okay.
Yeah. Who puts more Padlets wins.
Okay. How about Yentran? Yentran, you are here. All right. In this session, all right. If you have some ideas, please feel free to contribute as well. Okay. I think 1 more minute before we close off. All right. Okay. Okay, anything else? Okay, did I see any important topic? Okay, let me just go down below now. No more, right? This time around, this is better now. It never occurred to me that somebody hide the input so far below, you know. Okay, so basically, I think there is a general consensus finding is that you don't really have a model, all right, for SDL, right? Okay, so all right, I think I will move on now to I'll just show you the PowerPoint, all right? Maybe I'll just spend some time explain why do we have a model, all right? Okay, so you may find this is one of the many models. If you go to Google, all right, you just type self-directed learning, you see a lot of models, right? So why do we come up with this is that first off, we wanted our students to be self-directed learner, right? And we want the lecturer to teach the students self-directed learning. So with that alone, we find that our lecturer may not know how to do that. Primarily because our students are young, they are 17, 18 years old. So they may not know how to go about the self-directed learning. Right? And the teenagers today, they are quite easily distracted by social media and more exciting things than studying. Okay, when they look at our online material, it's not so exciting compared to looking at Instagram, for example, or TikTok. Okay, so we understand our students they need to be equipped with the skills to be self-directed learning. And our lecturers need to know how to teach self-directed learning, right? So we came up with this model. We focus on the mindset, which is growth mindset and intrinsic motivation. Right? So how to get the student motivated and wanted to learn more on their own. So curiosity could be one of the key factors. All right. Some of you identified time management is also very important. But we feel that before we even talk about time management, it's a growth mindset, because some students, they may not have much confidence in themselves to learn on their own. Right? So we need to build up their self-confidence so that they believe that they can learn. Right? They are not born with limitations in what they can do. So that's the idea of growth mindset. Right? So the other skill set that we look at we think that is very important is metacognition. Right? So because we want the students to go through the 4 steps as shown here in self-directed learning, is to plan their learning. So they must first know what is it that they need to know. What is their learning, set the learning goals, what is the task, what is their learning gap, what is it that they already know, what they don't know, where can they get the information, what is their learning strategy. Is Google always a good source? If you use Google, how do you know the information that you found is a correct one? Right? So they have to plan. So they will therefore move on to the next stage to manage their learning. Right? So, like example earlier is from Google. How do they manage the information that they found? Right? What if there is conflicting information? Right? Or what is their uncertainty in some of those data? So what do they do? And after that, they will review and evaluate their learning. Okay, so they will monitor their progress. Sometimes they get digressed. They may be answering something else when the question is asking for something, and the answer is on totally unrelated manner or divergent, off tangent, and give the not so relevant answer. Okay, so how do they manage their learning? How do they review and monitor their own progress? Do they completely answer the questions, or do they miss out certain points? All right, or depending on the question, there may be different perspective they need to provide, then they didn't cover that. So that is the 3 basic process that they go through, and they require certain skills, right? Like information literacy. How do they search for information is a key skill. Time management, right? So how do they do that? If they have to work, if they don't have the information, how do they ask for information? How do they approach somebody who knows, right? To articulate, express clearly what are they looking for. So having done all that, the next stage is, of course, extended learning. How do they apply what they learned, all right, in one learning scenario into a different learning scenario when the learning task becomes more complicated and as they progress into their later year of study. So that is the approach that we are taking, right, to teach them to equip them with the skill, right? So basically, all right, so we have something you have given me some information as a starting point, right? So if you don't have the model, all right, you really need to think about what are the skill sets that the students must need. And with some of this information that you have, you can add on more information based on what I've just shared, but also more importantly, you may also go to the CDIO syllabus, all right, to look for the CDIO syllabus capture a lot of skill sets that is needed, okay, and you can pick from there what are the one that is useful, you think is important for self-directed learning, right? So an example that I show you here is, of course, related to information literacy. So in CDIO topic 2.2.2, they talk about survey of print and electronic literature. So how do you get those information, right? And ascertain the relevancy, the currentness of the accuracy of the information, right? So that is the starting point that we have to get ready, okay? Now the next step is, all right, so think of a course in your program, right? The one ideally is the one that you teach, right? That you want to have SDL now. You want the self-directed learning to be included in your course, right? So what is the course that you have in mind, and what is the particular topic or even related topics that you have in mind, right? So this is a second Padlet, right? So we will switch to a second Padlet now. So for you to enter your information, right? Before you do that, right? So this is the first step in in unpacking. So we look at the CDL syllabus. What are the skill sets required, right? Plus the one that you identified earlier, right? Now think about the next step is think about the program that you teach, right? And narrow down a particular topic, right? Because you cannot teach everything, right? There are certain things that you teach. There are certain things that you may want the students to learn on their own, okay, in order to complete whatever assignment or projects that you want to give them. So you're not teaching them everything. So what else do you want them to learn on their own, okay? So that is step number 2, this row number 2 here. The third row, okay, this is regards to, all right, this is the CDL syllabus anyway, right? This is regards to the stage self-directed learning model. According to Gerald Groh, students who go through different stages, from someone is totally dependent on the lecturer who has to teach everything, tell them to do everything, to the desired state, stage 4, where they are totally self-directed. Okay, and our role will change when we engage the students to bring them through the journey, right? So the examples are just what we can do, what are the things that we can do. So it's very important if you are teaching first-year students or second-year students or later-year students, how well are they? How prepared are they? Right? How ready are these students in terms of self-directed learning? Because in our experience, our students come from different secondary schools. Some are more equipped than the others. Some have more positive mindset, and some are lacking in their confidence. So in our class, we usually have a mix of students. They may not be all ready to self-directed. Okay, so that's the reason why we also have to teach the students. Right? So the last row in these slides here, all right, asking you to make a good a guess, right? If you're not sure, what is the self-directed learning readiness of your students, all right? So that they are comfortable with the task that we assign. If you just tell them, okay, go and learn this on your own, they say, teacher, I don't know how. Can you teach me? Right? So then what are you going to do? All right? So what is the desired level of proficiency? What do you want? When you want them to do self-directed learning on their own, okay, what are outcomes are you expecting? that they can show you that they are self-directed. Okay, is it in terms of the quality of the report, the way they present their ideas? What is it, okay, that you are looking for? So that depends a lot on how ready they are. Okay, if they are not so ready, you have to help them along, especially if you are teaching year 1 students. Right? So that is the challenge that we face. So we would like you to look at the syllabus a little bit, right? Based on what you have identified earlier, what do they want? What are the skills that is required? So what do you want them to do? Where they are, right? And what level of proficiency do you want? All right? What level of proficiency do you want? So over here, all right, I share what you see here are in CDIO. We talk about 5 levels of proficiency in a very general manner. It's very generic. Level 1, right, the basic, and to level 5. So you may choose to use this, or right, you may have your own rubrics, right, your own rubrics to do this. So which you can refer to. So these are performance rubrics. So they give you more descriptions, right? I think we will put the we will share this in the chat. That you have the file, right? You can share this document with the participants, right? So they can just take a look at it, right? These are performance rubric, right? So it describes the different stages of the skill sets. So from novice to expert level. So you can use this as a guide. At what level, depending on which year are you teaching, what is the level of readiness? So what is the performance expected of them in that level of when they are at that level of readiness, or the next level that you want to bring them. Right? So if you are teaching year 1, they're very novice, you don't expect them to be expert after your session. Yeah. So you look at the performance rubric. So where should they be? If they are here, okay, you expect the next level that they are here. So this is how you're going to bring it up. Okay. So we talk about all this gap first to understand our students better and to also to manage our own expectation. Yeah. Okay. So that is the challenge that when we go through when we're trying to teach them self-directed learning. Okay. So I spent a bit of time talking. Would that be okay with everybody? Is there any questions, or you find that this is too challenging already? Too much thing to do.
That's about right. Yeah.
That's about right. Okay. Thank you so much for that. All right. So yeah. So we will. Okay. So with this, right? Okay. So this. Okay. Now, yeah. So we will introduce you the second Padlet for you to enter. All right. So these are the 3 things. All right. The 3 things. What are the things the skills that you think that they need? Yes, you identified earlier, time management and curiosity and a few other things, right? Then the course that you teach, the topic that you want them to learn on their own, okay? And the level of proficiency that you expect them to attain based on your assessment of how ready they are in the year that you're teaching them. So, okay? All right. Okay then. So let's see if the second Padlet. Okay, shall we have the second Padlet?
Okay, second Padlet already typed into the chat, so everyone can click on it. Unfortunately, I can't upload the file. It says I've got a network disconnect.
Oh dear.
Never
mind. I will. Yeah, this is the second one. All right. So if you are able to access it, right? So yeah, you might want to put this down, pen this down. All right. Kat, can you move your example? I can't move your Padlet. Yeah.
Can.
Technology is still a bit yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's too low.
Too low? Okay,
Yeah.
where do you want me to move it? Center.
Yeah, below the word engineering curriculum will do. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Demand forecasting. Challenging. Engineering business management. Wow.
Topic.
Preparing your post-module assignment. All right. Okay, this one got blocked a little bit. Can you move? Can you move this one a bit? Chate, Dr. Chate's one, so that it doesn't block one below.
Okay.
Right.
Oops.
No, man, it's not so bad. Not so bad. Topic of human error. Interesting. User interface design. Okay, so the purpose here is that so that you have in mind, to get you thinking about, okay, which area, which topic that you want the students to learn. What are the things that you are teaching them? What are the things that you may want them to learn on their own? All right. All right. So how many people actually we have in our session? Not that many, yeah. But in a way, it's good. It's good. All right. Oops. We have one more participant joining, I think. Some may have left. Somebody have left also? No?
I think some may have left.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Application of AI in society. Wow. Interesting. All right. All right, Dr. Shuvev, you specify level 4, all right? That would be a challenge one. Skill in practice and implementation. Okay.
Well, they are graduate students. They are master degree level.
Oh, okay. All right. So that is a reasonable expectation, right? Yeah.
Right.
Perhaps you can. I should have said this earlier, but that was my mistake. Perhaps you should indicate which year your course is. Yeah, that is the mistake on my part. I overlooked this part. Okay, so you don't mind if you can enter the year, right? The course. Which year is that course been offered? Like Dr. Shuev is a graduate course, yeah. Right. So you can just edit your post. Right? You can always edit it. All right. Okay, like Katrina is using hers as an example is year 1. This is actually year 1, semester 1. So the students are very, very new to tertiary education, right? So she set her proficiency level as to be able to understand, right? So let the student understand the importance of self-directed learning, right? So on the other hand, Dr. Shuev's is handling graduate students, so it's quite reasonable to expect them to have a high proficiency level when it comes to self-directed learning already. Okay, so let's just see the others. What do you have? 4th year, all right? Native, yours is 4th year, application AI, all right? Your proficiency level is regarding the self-directed learning, yeah? not so much about application of AI. Okay, here we are talking about the proficiency level in self-directed learning. All right. So Nata, are you still here, or you also have go for coffee break? Nata is not here.
Yes, she's calling.
Ah, okay.
This
So
year.
Okay. 4th year also, user interface, understand important human error. Okay. The Chate also your proficiency level, all right? It's not about the topic, all right? It's a self-directed learning proficiency. Okay. All right, we will just see the rest. I think some earlier. Miss Yentran, are you here? Ah, Prasanna. Prasanna, welcome, Prasanna. You join us just in time. We are in the just the second step.
Thanks, Inya. I will try to follow it up. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. It's okay. I mean, if anyone who needs to get in touch with me after the workshop, you are more than welcome. All right. Okay. Nowadays with Microsoft Teams, all right, or online communication, it's quite easy to talk actually. All right. And this workshop is also going to be quite rushed because of the timing. All right. Typically, I would allocate actually at least 3 hours. At least 3 hours. Okay. Yeah. So, Kat, how are we doing on the time?
We're doing okay.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe I'll give it another 5 more minutes, maybe.
Okay. Right. Sorry, we sounds like we are rushing you. Yeah. Okay. At least we want to get you through the whole process so you have a feel of what are the things that you need to do. Okay. So this is all about how we prepare our students and how we design the learning activity that the students will understand, right? What skill is it that they need? We want them to know how to use the skill, right? And how do we, if want to assess the skill like that has been asked by earlier. Okay. All right. Oh, it's hiding below. All right. All right. Sandida, yours is in red, yeah? Kate, can you pull this up also?
Can.
And that is the one thing about Padlet is that
It keeps going down, yeah.
Yeah. Now it's blocked. Okay. Okay, level 4. Sanida, which year is your course?
3rd year.
3rd year. Okay. So you're expecting a level 4. Okay. Possible. All right. Possible. I will do a brief debrief later on, okay, so that you understand how the other CDL standards actually fit into this as well. All right. So the essence of CDIO is that you really looking at simultaneous application of several standards, right? The relevant standards. All right. Current student SDL. Okay. Not sure. Anatif, what is your current student SDL? Do they know or do they don't know? All right. It's how to do self-directed learning. If you ask the students, do you know how to conduct self-directed learning? Okay, so what do you think the answers will be? Right? So Sanida is level 4, okay. The Chate, okay. Yeah, so what's the proficiency level in self-directed learning? You expect them to be able to do it, or they don't know anything? Yeah, level 3. All right. So your course, user interface design, what year is that?
I mean,
4th year.
the 3rd year, but in the second term, second
Okay.
semester. So preparing students to go to the job training for the next semester, so they can design and can calculation about the rainfall forecasting and ID curve.
Okay.
In my outcome, in my objective.
Okay. All right. Okay. No worries. No worries. Okay. Well, there's no right or wrong answer here. All right. There are many factors to consider, which I will do a quick summary and a debrief later on. Okay. But this is just to get you to, again, to get you to think through. All right. So when you want the students to do self-directed learning, okay. So how much do you know about your students' ability to do that? Do they have the skills, all right, to do it? And how do you help them if they don't? How are you going to help them? So it must be done in the context of what you want them to learn, the topic, right? The topic that you have, all right? So what are you going to teach them? What are you not going to teach them? Right? That you expect them to learn on their own, because to know, in order to complete some assignment that you're going to give, right? Yeah. So Nata is back, I think, right? Participate and contribute, right? Year 3 students. So you are the year, okay, you are talking about year 3. So it's very interesting. So nobody here actually teaches year 1. Okay. So, okay. Right. I think we are more or less there. All right. So this part of this stage of the exercise is just we call unpacking of Sdl. Right? What are the building blocks? What do you want them to do? Right? So you identify the topic. Okay, you identify their level readiness. Okay, and readiness, where they are now, and where do you expect them to be, the desired proficiency level. So is there a gap? Right? Is there a gap? So if you want them to be able to, all right, you expect them to be, let's take Dr. Shuev's example, yeah, level 4, right? Skill in practice and implementation. So you want them to be skilled already. So that means you give them an assignment. They know what to do. They can plan. Right? We talked about the building block just now. They can plan. They identify their learning goals. They can plan their learning strategy. They know how to do literature survey. They know how to evaluate the information that they found. Right? So as they go ahead and carry out the assignment, they're able to monitor and keep themselves on track. So that is the level of expectation that you want. So you pretty much more or less hands off already, right? Your students should be able to do all this, right? Then you look at them based on your assessment. They are now only at level 3, right? So it's not quite where you want them to be. They are here, you expect them to be here, right? So what can you do, right? So your intervention, the learning task that you design should help you to bridge the gap, to close the gap, right? So that is the general idea behind the CDIO, the learning task. What is your gap? How do you going to close it, right? So you understand the current situation, right? Where they are, what do you want them to do, where do you want them to be, right? In the context of the subject that you are teaching. That's why the context is always there, and you have to bridge that gap. So later on, we will look at how do you design a learning task to bridge the gap. Up to this point, any question? Any question? Any question from anybody? Does the approach make sense to you so far?
Yes.
Okay, I hope so. Thank you so much. All right. So, any particular questions? Why we are doing all this at this point, or what's the objective?
One question.
Yes, please.
Okay, let's say if the current readiness of the student is like maybe low, like 1 or 2, and like my expectations might be too high, like 4 or 5. So the gap is large. It's gonna be too much on the students.
Good, very good question. All right. Certainly, if the level is 1, all right, and let's say this well, maybe let's say these are year 2 students, okay, and you expect them to be 5. It may not be really, therefore, one thing is that it may not be realistic. Your expectation may be too high, not so realistic for year 2 students to attain. Okay, because when we're talking about this development, okay, we recognize that change does not occur within a single session. Not with one learning activity, the students will be able to change, right? They need practice, they need reinforcement. Okay, so later on, I'm going to talk about integrated curriculum, how you can distribute out the effort to slowly, progressively, all right, progressively bringing up their competency. So it's not about doing everything in one course or within one topic and expect miracle to happen. Okay, it will never happen. So you will have to slowly stage. That's why in the growth self-directed learning model, he's talking about staging from totally dependent to totally independent. It cannot happen overnight in one lesson or one course, right? So your degree program or bachelor's program has 4 years. 4 years. So we start from them when coming in the first year. If they are very low, so how do you slowly move them up to the higher years, right? So I hope that addressed your question. Okay. So
that's clear.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There's additional notes here. What is this? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Kat, you put in this, right? Okay. Any other questions from anyone? And how do I do on the timing?
We're doing fine. I think we can move on.
Okay. All right. So this is the second stage, yeah, Prasanna, for your benefit. All right. So we are just assessing this. We know we identify which topic that we want the students to learn on their own. Okay. What skill do they have now? What skill do they need to have? Right. Use the growth self-directed learning model stage, the stages of self-directed learning. Yeah. Okay. So, so this is one. Did everybody manage to get the performance rubric?
I don't think it could send across. I just couldn't. The file just gets stuck in the chat there.
Oh, too big, is it, or something?
It says network disconnect, so it could be I have no rights for the chat.
Oh, okay.
So
okay, no worries. I think we can get the Nata. Are you here, Nata? Nata. Okay,
still here.
All right. Okay, so I guess later on we can email to everybody the sample rubrics, yeah, performance rubrics.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. It's not mine. I copy it from somewhere.
It's copyright.
I don't understand the meaning of that word. Okay, I think let's move on. Okay, so right now, okay, we gathered some ingredients already. We have some basic understanding. All right, so the next stage is that we are going to plan for it. Okay, so we're going to plan for it properly. All right, so the first row. Okay, we are moving on to the third tablet. All right, so I will change the tablet later on to number 3. Okay, so based on the first row here. All right, based on the course identified. All right, the one that you identified just now. Think of a real-world working environment where SDL is required. Okay, so we want to make the learning meaningful for the student. This is not something that we dream up, but this is something that they are expected to be able to use self-directed learning in the real world. Okay, so this is in particular, in CDIO context, this is standard 1. The context of learning is very, very important. All right, so that the learning is meaningful. All right, so in a real world setting, what is the job the students need to do? All right, and the student perform this job. Okay, this is where he needs to use multiple skills. It may involve teamwork. It may involve communication. It may involve time management. It may involve planning, right? And other requirements particular to that job. But it also requires self-directed learning. Self-directed learning, because we cannot teach them everything. They must be able to learn on their own. So in their workplace, what is the possible job scenario that the students must, that is, as an employee of the company, one is expected to know without the company, the boss have no time to teach, yeah? Right? So the employee needs to learn new things on his own or her own. So what are the domain knowledge? Okay, just now you have identified your topic, right, that you are teaching. What are the things that you didn't teach that is also needed, therefore needs self-directed learning, right? And when in the real world, of course, the students are not using the knowledge only from your course. The student might use knowledge from other courses as well, right? In order to perform a particular job function, he may require knowledge from several courses, okay? And the skills that is required, right? Like I mentioned, there's a teamwork, communication, or time management, or whatever else, right? That is needed. And you ask yourself, does the student already have this skill? Okay, like for example, if communication is required as part of the job role, okay, the job role also requires students to do some form of self-directed learning. The job role also requires the students to be able to communicate clearly the work that he is doing. So does the student have these communication skills already? Okay, so that when he practice self-directed learning, he also using communication skills. Or does this student already have time management skills or other resource management skills, so that when he practice self-directed learning, he is also using these other skills like time management or resource management or critical thinking or any other skills. Okay, so that in a nutshell, right? Okay, is in CDIO, that's what it means by integrated learning experiences. All right, it is integrated in the sense that you use your knowledge from different courses that is relevant to the job. Okay? In using that knowledge, you are also using skills that is relevant to the job. Right? And some of these skills include self-directed learning, because you need to acquire new knowledge in order to perform the job. Right? So that is when we're talking about integrated learning experiences in CDIO, that's what it means. Right? It's trying to mimic the real world challenge in the real world. Right? You don't solve a problem just by using a single discipline. Okay, this is the fluid mechanics problem. I solve this problem. I don't have to worry about time management or resource management, right? Or different perspective. I don't have to consider all that. Not true. Okay, so in the real world, it's very complex. It's very multifaceted. Right, so that's what CDIO is trying to address in integrated learning experiences. Right, so this part asks you to do that, to identify the knowledge and the skills that is needed, okay, that has to be used, okay. And after you have done that, the next step is the one that we are very familiar with, at least in the knowledge part, right? The learning outcomes. So what is the learning outcome that we want, right? The learning outcome that we want based on the level of proficiency that we identify. Right? If it's level 3, okay, this is our expectation at this level. So this learning outcome that I asked you to write, right, not only the knowledge, but also for the skills or the attitudes. So the skill is self-directed learning skill. So what is that outcome that you want for self-directed learning for this course that you are teaching? Does that sound clear, reasonable enough for everybody? Does that make sense? Is everybody here?
Yes, we're still here.
Yes, it's very clear.
Okay, good. I was worried that you either all left or fainted already.
It's so silent, right?
Yeah, it's too silent. It's unnerving, you know.
Yeah, we should have music at the background.
Yeah, and after that's for you to provide, you know.
I provided in the main room.
Yeah, maybe you should sing us a song here.
Oh no! Yeah. Why not? You go first.
If I do that, I
Okay.
think the mic will break. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the Padlet for number 3. All right, stage number 3, workshop on integrating self-directed learning skills. So, as usual, I think Katrina has put up some guidance here, some reminders. All right. So it's a continuity of what you have done just now. All right. So I look forward for some input. Right. So you have entered something there. Right. So continue from there. So if you are talking about the engineering business management, so okay, this is what you teach. So what else do you expect the student to have and that you didn't teach? All right. Okay, it's still very silent, you know. Very unnerving.
We can all turn on the mic.
Hmm?
We can all turn on the mic and it's still quiet.
Can I ask something?
Of course, you can ask. Please ask. I welcome you to talk.
He waits for questions.
Yeah.
Just to check my understanding.
Yes.
We have to write the learning outcome that based on the self-directed learning, right?
Yes.
Not the outcome of the course, right?
Well, technically you need to write everything, right? Because this is what you plan to achieve, all right? But as a practice for today's session, because we don't have a lot of time to write everything, okay, at least you write something that is related to self-directed learning as a reminder to yourself, and also to when you brief the students, all right, they know what is the level of performance that you are expecting. Right? Yeah.
Because I think that the learning outcome that I already said maybe is just like it based on me giving the lecture to them. So I have to put in mind that it should be the learning outcome to make them can learn by themselves, right?
That's right. And at what level of proficiency, you know, so that what do you expect them to do? Okay. Yeah. So always remember, if we are talking about outcome-based education, right? The learning, the language of the learning outcome, the way it is worded, okay, must be something that the student is able to do. All right. Not what we teach them or what we want them to know, but what they are able to do. Okay? Either to explain something or to design something, all right, or to communicate something. Okay. So in self-directed learning is about, you know, how they're able to evaluate information or looking for data in the most effective manner, evaluate the accuracy of the data, right? So that kind of outcome, right? Okay. So we are quite confident in writing the knowledge type of learning outcome, right? Because that's what we teach the students and that's what we want the students to know, right? But the skills outcome is something that we must we have to know how to write. Okay, so that when we communicate to the students, they know what is the performance standard that we are expecting, right? So that is the that is the challenge in terms of education, right? Because I see that many of you, some examples here are more on the knowledge side. Yeah. Okay. So what are the self-directed learning side or any on any of the other skills, right? So what real-world knowledge is required? So like, I think some of you may have programming or debugging, all right, exception handling that I see here, all right. So these are this could be a real-world problem that the students are solving. They're designing or troubleshooting a software or something like that for the students. Okay. Right, Dr. Shuef, you're saying that knowledge the student already have from other courses. Ability to Google for information on the internet. Yes. Right. Okay, that's good. So you know that they already have this skill, so you don't have to teach this skill. They already have it. All right. Okay. So this one will probably need a bit more time. Oops. Why did this one keep dropping below? Okay, if in the meantime, if you have any doubts or anything to clarify, please let me know. Okay.
Sin, can I ask a question?
Yes, please, please.
Yeah, Sin, maybe I missed this point since I was late joining the workshop. When you say in the first point, include topic that you required students to learn on their own,
yeah,
not taught in any course as well. I just wonder, are we talking about something that is not included in the curriculum, or is it that is included in the curriculum but we won't teach it in our own, but the students have to learn themselves? If you can just clarify.
it can be both. It can be both. So if in today's world, in a multidisciplinary kind of setting, right? There are certain areas that we will never teach, but the student may need some knowledge in this area. Okay, so that is one aspect. Another aspect would be if within the same disciplinary field, it's also not possible for us to teach everything. Right? So therefore, we may have teach the basic principles, but the way is applied in the different contexts, we can't be comprehensive in covering all that, right? So in that sense, therefore, we rely on the students to be able to find out more on their own. Okay, so yes, the answer to your questions is that as long as there is something that some knowledge that the students need in order to solve the problem at hand, okay, that it's not being taught anywhere, right? But they need it. Okay, so increasingly, I think that the importance of self-directed learning is such that we recognize that within the available curriculum hours, there's no way we can teach everything, right? So we want to equip them with the skills that without us, they know what to do. Basically, in a nutshell, that's self-directed learning. Okay, they don't have to depend on us. They know what to do. Does that answer your question?
Thanks, Sin. Yeah, I think this is a very important aspect when it comes to continuous professional development as well.
Yes.
You know, having this ability to learn for the self. Yeah, thanks, Sin.
No, you're most welcome. All right. Even increasingly, we lecturers ourselves, we find ourselves that we cannot always take the time off to go and attend courses, and the freedom to do that anymore. All right. So we don't wait for our bosses to tell you that, okay, Prasanna, we'll go and attend this course because you will need this for your next job. So he may give you something. My boss gave me something to do, and I realized that I don't have the knowledge to do it, or I have half the knowledge. I'm not so confident how to do it. All right. But if I cannot tell my boss that I can't do it, okay? So I have to go and learn on my own how to do it. So it applies to ourselves. So if we look at it, what the experience that we have to go through, how do we translate, right, this requirement, these scenarios into the context that the students will also understand the importance. So that is what this workshop is about. Designing an integrated learning experiences for self-directed learning, so that the students can see in their future world when they have to work, why is this skill important? Why do I need to develop these skills? Okay, so Asana, for your information, before you came in, we talked about the self-directed learning as a very high order skills. It requires some building blocks or the fundamental skills in order to be able to be self-directed. So we identify what are the basic skills, and does the student have these skills to begin with? If the students have never learned team working or communication or time management before, how do you expect them to manage the time when they are doing self-directed learning? Right? They will have difficulty there, right? Or how to prioritize the task. Sometimes we ourselves are having a problem with that. Okay, so let me just quickly take a look. All right. All right. I like what Tanatif right here. Able to empathize users to understand their problem. All right. So that is empathy we are talking about. Okay. So let me challenge you, yeah, on this, yeah. So how do you teach the students to empathize with others? So because if you want this as an outcome, to empathize with users, okay, so how do you get them to empathize with users?
Yeah,
okay.
what I did in the past class, I give them some tools, right? Like the empathy map. And I asked them to ask some people to answer something.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So you have done something there, so that this is what you want, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So these are some of the skills that is needed when they are doing when you want the students to acquire, to develop self-directed learning skills. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else have any? Let me just see. Okay. Sanida, Rain4 runoff model presented ILOs. ILOs is intended learning outcomes. Yeah. Work group can communicate presentation feedback. All right. Let me ask you about feedback. Is this giving feedback or receiving feedback?
Receiving feedback.
Okay. So receiving feedback. So, all right. So how is this related to your self-directed learning skills?
I think they can, like if presentation, they can upload on the YouTube, and friend can look at the video and can comment their present.
All right. Okay. Interesting. So in a way, I think this is what you are doing. Okay. Okay. This is how I see. Right. If I use our model, all right. So this is part of for them to review and evaluate their learning. Right? They present, they do something, and they upload to YouTube, right?
Yes.
And then as their peers, the teacher or other friends look at it and give them comments, give them feedback, right? So this is part of the process that they review and they evaluate their own learning. Right?
Sorry to interrupt, but then I think the time's up for this session. Yeah, it's 2:45. Yes, time's up.
Oh my God, Kat.
Yeah, and then the next session would start in 5 minutes. So.
Oh, so sorry. God. I look at the wrong time zone. I'm at the wrong time zone. So sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Sarah will lead a next workshop in 5 minutes. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thanks, Nata. Thanks for the alert. I'm so sorry, everybody. The last part we have not finished. Okay, I tell you what.
I can open a new session for you if you want to continue. Just tell me like date and time that convenient.
Okay, I think let's do it in this manner. I think is that since most people are okay. All right, I think we can poll later on if they want the session, but I think there's it has to also meet my schedule. All right, so I don't think I want to do this to rush this within this conference. All right, yeah. So I think that if there is some form of a follow up that anyone is required, I'm more than willing to do it on a more personal basis.
All right.
I think that works better for everybody. I hope so. I don't mind doing it a few more times, but just allow me the liberty to arrange the timing a little bit more.
Maybe you can make as a self-directed workshop.
I don't mind doing that, but I think if you're not very familiar, there will be probably the question and answer will be much more useful at this point in time. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And,
and yes, and may I have the SDL model?
Yes. I will make this set of the steps available to everybody.
Yes.
So that you can at least run through them on your own and see if there's anything. All right. I always have. Okay, time is running out. Okay. So I will always I have my email address at the end that you can contact me. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that we took so long. All right. Okay, so I'm so sorry. Let me just end this session. I'm so sorry. You know, wow, that's bad.
Yes, it's very
no
good
problem.
job. Very nice job. Very good job.
Okay, close shop.
Good job.
Okay.
Thank you.
Come up.
So sorry. Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you, Simo. Thank you, Katrina.
Thank you again.
See you in the next session.
Thank you, everyone.